it's an eye-opening experience. What is possible with TikTok? You don't need to have a huge team to have a huge output. You just need to have a small amount of high-performing, loyal freelancers. If you have the right team and you have the right freelancers, you have the right processes, you can get high quality with very high efficiency and very high quantity.
Welcome back to Tim's journey from 0 to 10K a month with KDP. Today we're diving into Tim's second month. We did a video last month about his first month of publishing, which was in May 2025. Today we'll go over his results for June 2025, what he's working on, and some lessons learned. Tim, big welcome back.
Once again, as Ian would say, happy to be here. Yeah, looking forward to this next interview. Got a lot of new updates to talk about.
Yeah, great to have you here. What were your results for June?
So far, the June is over now. The results, if you maybe watched last video, it's basically the same. Revenue is around the same. It's 176 euros, which translates to approximately $200. Still profit is zero pretty much. Everything went on ad spend and test reader reviews. However, I got not a lot of other books published. I'm not quite sure how many books I've published at the stage of the last interview. At the moment, books published, paperback books, is 6 paperback books. However, 90% of the revenue still comes from the first book I did myself. The other books that are published, these are focused on as giftable books. The situation with them right now is they are also starting to make sales now, but they're basically heavily reliant on ads, and the ads they have now found the profitable keywords, and we will soon go hard on exact match campaigns with those. So yeah, revenue wise the same. However, a lot of books produced, they are not yet published. Currently behind on the publishing, but I've made a new plan on publishing them. But yeah, we'll talk about more in this interview. Yeah.
Okay. What's one thing you're proud of from this past month?
I would say finally, not really proud, but very happy about having found the right freelancers. That's also one learning I took is I remember last interview, I think I was in the phase of heavily hiring. I hired like 30 new designers, or gave test tasks to 30 new designers. Like time for a short time frame. Then I had 6 designers working, but I now filtered it down to the top 3 designers, and it's great relief finally having great people to work with, or that work for me more or less. And yeah, proud of having this as a solution to this situation, because that ate up the hiring process for those people, ate up a lot of time. And yeah, I'm proud that I've now reached the production level with a lean team with a high output and nice quality. Yeah.
Okay. How does your understanding of publishing compare to the last 30 days?
It's basically the same. However, there have been some new learnings. We had a talk in DPE about next level bonuses, what to offer as next level bonuses or lead magnets. And through that talk, and also through a talk I had with you, Andre, I came to the conclusion I need to put more focus on the lead magnet system, building up the email list. So that is a new perspective. And also when it comes to TikTok, I've made some learnings when it comes to social media promotion or book publishing, heavily leveraging social media, especially TikTok and TikTok Shop. And I dove into that a little bit, and it's an eye-opening experience. What is possible with TikTok, how the research process works. I've learned some new tools now when it comes to TikTok research, or I'm currently learning it. So yeah, that's a new perspective, like the importance of putting focus on the lead magnets, because email lists are with everything. They are foundational building block when it comes to scaling, and also the TikTok side of publishing. Yeah.
Okay, will be interesting to follow up in a couple of months, see where you're at in
Yeah.
terms of the email list, the amount of subscribers, and also the social media, how that is going. Was there a moment this month where something clicked for you?
I think it was what I already mentioned, that you don't need to have a huge team to have a huge output. You just need to have a small amount of high performing, loyal freelancers. I've now one designer who works full time more or less for me. She canceled work with all other clients, and her output rate is crazy. Her quality is crazy. I barely need to do any revisions for the last 2 books. There was like one revision needed, like for one page out of 99 plus illustrations for every book. So yeah, this is really a clicking moment. Like the right team, the right freelancers is a crucial part of running a successful publishing business, I believe.
Yeah, so instead of hiring more, you're now focused on giving the freelancer that performs more work.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Has your mindset changed around what it takes to succeed in publishing?
Not really what it takes to succeed, but I think like what the ceiling is, my beliefs on that have changed. But I think yeah, it was shortly before the last interview. We had Andre was also in this call. We had we called it the 10x call we had with you, where you called us and said, guys, stop having limiting beliefs. You showed us basically your output and your production system, how you arrange everything, and we both started implementing this on our own businesses. So yeah, I kind of removed the limiting beliefs when it comes to quantity, and now I'm aiming for even higher quantity, or I've actually now reached that level of higher quantity. I think there's still room for improvement, but I think I'm at a good quantity production level right now. Yeah, also what I mentioned already, the importance of lead magnets, loyal reader bases. Yeah, there's also a conclusion that when I looked a little bit more into CocoWire, they don't have like huge amount of books. It's just that they leverage their audience very great, and their social media game is on point. Social media is very important. This I already mentioned this, but this is also a mindset shift that came to me in these last 30 days. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. What beliefs or assumptions were proven wrong since you started?
I wouldn't. I don't have any assumption. Basically, what I already mentioned when it comes to my own assumptions. But what I've read a lot in the YouTube comments, also under the new iHunt video right now, is that people, they have the assumption that you cannot produce high quality and high quantity, and I think that is just a myth, a limiting belief. If you have the right team and you have the right freelancers, you have the right processes, you can get high quality with very high efficiency and very high quantity for actually very low money. Might be over exaggerated, but for low money, yeah, very low money might be exaggerated, but through building the right systems, building the right SOPs, training the freelancers on your processes for actually a low amount of money compared to traditional outsourcing methods or ghostwriter methods, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point you're bringing up there. So a lot of people, they think that one excludes the other. If you're doing quality, then you can't do quantity. And if you're doing quantity, you can't do quality. And I think if we think about iPhones or we think about car production or whatever you want to take as an example, there's quantity being produced, but it doesn't impact the quality.
Yeah.
But of course, some people, yes, of course, they rush and they pump out as many books as possible, but you can still have both.
Yeah. I think
The-
with the comparison with the car manufacturers, etc., I think it's what can be transformed to KDP is just get the process right, get the SOP right to create the high quality first. It's also how the car people do it. They build like the process to build the perfect car, or more or less perfect car, and then they can just have even machines following this workflow to get the same quality as originally thought out. And in my system, it's similar. I had the goal in the beginning to make the process so simple that even my dogs could follow it. They're not so simple, but still, when the processes are laid out to create a high quality book, you can just have you can just scale it with multiple people following just the same process, and you can be sure that the outcome's right. But still, I of course have also in the process is an editor, a woman. She checks all manuscripts for quality issues. She corrects a lot of stuff. So it's still good to have, even with a heavily AI workflow, leverage a workflow to have the human proof step in there. Yeah, for all books. Even though the process is good, I know that it's still good to have every book double checked. Yeah.
And this is also an excellent point that we often talk about, that if you change the niches, you change the topics, the titles, the freelancers, etc., that are needed, that is something that gets harder to scale, and it gets harder to scale quality that way. So I think that's why, based on what I've seen, you aim to stick in certain niches and not deviate from those niches. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. I don't really stick to a niche at the moment. I stick to a book type because the freelancers, they are trained on doing this book type, but this book type can be applied to many other niches. But now at the moment, I'm filled up the bucket. The bucket is overflowing right now for this book format. So I keep the freelancers busy without me having to take too much care of it right now. Now I'm spending the time on developing new book types. Also, by the way, I'm going into coloring books now, even though we all hate coloring books all the time. But I think I found something unique that could still pay off, and the production for those is super cheap. It would be dumb to not try it at least. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. What has surprised you the most, good or bad, about publishing and the process of publishing?
What has surprised me this last month is now that I got such a high level or high output production system. I realized how much time it actually takes to create or upload the books. It's uploading the books, A/B testing the covers with such high amount of books. It takes a lot of time A/B testing the covers, then sending the cover designer revisions. Oh, by the way, also this month I found the cover designer, which takes a lot of work off of me, and A+ content. But still managing the A+ content, also the marketing material, this takes a lot of time. So before I had the mindset that okay, the production system, this is the main time effort, but now I realize that uploading everything, etc., it takes nearly the same time as managing the production. But I also will work on finding a VA for the uploading process, I believe, depending on how Amazon is okay with this. Yeah, A+ content designer I found now. Before that, I did it myself. For some books, I still do it myself. Cover creation also I do myself for some books. But yeah, a lot of takes surprisingly much times this steps.
So you're doing a lot of work for $200 a month. How does that
Yeah,
feel?
it's I know that it will pay off eventually. It sometimes is like, oh, what the fuck? This is a lot of work to do. I need to really do this, but the bucket of the designer is running out. I need to put time into creating new manuscripts, finding new titles and concepts. This creates also some chaos, which is why I cannot stick to the initial plan I laid out, where it's this stage is titles and concepts. the designers, they are faster than I can create the titles and concepts. But I know that it will pay off eventually, so it's not demotivating seeing that no money is being made currently. It's putting some pressure on me seeing the bank account slowly deplete, the savings slowly deplete, which I saved up for the book production. But I see the amount of books I have now laying around, I see their quality, and I see the potential, and yeah, so I'm completely fine with the $200 at the moment.
Okay, it's great.
Yeah.
What concrete skills have you improved or developed this month?
I also we made some interviews with Barry when we met in Cyprus. Also mentioned it there. The team management leadership thing. This is I had no experience in managing a team before, and I'm proud that I got this skill on a good level now. Also the TikTok stuff. I did some social media marketing for companies before, phone repair, did some successful TikTok strategies there, but I never had a good site where I can actually do niche research or data analytics for TikTok. So this is a very valuable skill I've learned this month, and I need to improve on for sure. So also I can recommend this to everybody. Start diving into the TikTok side of book production, even if it might sound like unattractive to you. I think it's a huge opportunity, and it's not as bad as it might sound to you if you hate TikTok or hate these types of platforms. There's ways you don't need to show your face. It's super easily doable just by copying what is already working. But yeah, finding out what is working and then finding out what to copy and what books to create for it, that's the challenging part. But I recommend diving into this.
Okay. Is there anything you now feel confident doing that you were unsure about before?
I think it's basically what I just mentioned. The team management. I heard it from you. You manage X amount of freelancers. It was not scary to me in the beginning, but I couldn't really imagine managing so many people. But yeah.
Okay. What are you still trying to wrap your head around?
I don't. Nothing comes to mind here really. I have built SOPs for pretty much everything. Also, when I discover something new, the first thing I do is I build the SOPs for it, or I don't always. Sometimes I create Miro boards. Sometimes I just write the freelancer instructions, and that is then the SOP for this process. For some things that I do myself, I haven't really noted it down the SOP, but I have it in my head. So yeah, there's really nothing I can't wrap my head around at the moment.
Okay. What does your publishing workflow look like now?
Basically, I do it all day, besides managing DPE stuff and managing video editors for the YouTube. What I do every day is just managing freelancers, checking for revisions, passing it on to the next person in the workflow. That is something I do every day. It doesn't really take much time. I do this in the morning and I check it again in the evening. But also I have it open. I have Upwork open all day pretty much and check it from time to time. If there's something new and I have time at the moment, I just focus on doing this. But other than that, and otherwise, half of the week, like the beginning of the week, most of the times beginning of the week, it's not 100% fixed on a certain day, but half of the week is finding titles, concepts, creating guidelines for the writers. I'm also creating the manuscripts. When I say manuscripts, I mean the text and instructions to designers, etc. So yeah, like half of the week is creation process, and the other half of the week, most of the books, when they come from the designer, I create the table of content myself, because I want it's a lot of time going into the table of contents. It might be unnecessary, but I think it gives a good quality level if the read sample shows like an amazing table of contents. So half of the week goes into polishing books, arranging everything for uploads and uploading. The other half of the week is basically creation process and managing freelancers, managing the team all week whenever I open Upwork, pretty much.
Have you created any routines or systems that have helped you stay consistent?
I put actually also that was something I did this month. I put a lot of effort into polishing my Notion board. I have a Notion board where I track the whole process. So this routine of just tracking everything whenever there's a new book and next step, keep track of everything. This saves you up a lot of clutter in your mind and helps you keep the overview. Otherwise, yeah, routine, just checking Upwork at least 2 times a day, responding to freelancers. Yeah. Other systems, I already mentioned that the whole production system. Yeah.
Okay. What's still messy or unstructured in your process?
It's what I already mentioned, that there in the beginning of this month I made a like a weekly calendar how I imagined the work days to be. So there's one day just titles and concepts, one day just manuscripts, one day just revisions. This is kind of still not in the I'm not in this structure how I laid it out. I'm still kind of chaotically doing whatever is the outcome. So yeah, sometimes it feels a little messy, but overall I think it's very structured and keeping the tracking clean. This keeps it structured. Yeah, it's nothing specific I can put it to, like this keeps it messy. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff to manage. It takes stuff getting used to managing such a big system. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned the Notion there. What other tools or platforms have become essential to your workflow?
There are actually not too many tools in my part of the process. It's Helium 10 for niche research. Probably most of everybody probably knows Helium 10. I do Gerald's black box approach for niche research he shows inside DPE. This is very effective when it comes to saving time while niche research. So I can in a short time frame just easily find profitable niches to go into. Other than that, Notion, I already mentioned this. Notion for tracking freelancers. Every freelancer I ever contacted is tracked there. All the book projects are tracked there. I create the titles and stuff inside Notion, or it's a mix between Excel sheets and Notion. But yeah, Notion. Google Drive when it comes to file delivery for the freelancers. They deliver into a set Google Drive folder. They all have their own Google Drive folder. I just have to track in manuscripts and Publish Drive folder and modify them. Hey, new manuscript there. So Drive, Notion, Helium 10 for niche research, and for the bonuses, our Publisher Lead software, which makes it super easy to build out the lead magnets or build out the landing pages to offer the lead magnets, build out the email automation, build out the email sequence for the ARC team. Yeah, this is basically it from my part of the process. Oh yeah, and Gemini for writing. Google Gemini 2.5 Pro. I've switched to that from ChatGPT. Gotten good results from Gemini. Very happy with Gemini. Also, the editor, she loves every manuscript. She shows them to her kids. It's kids' books for the most part. So yeah, I can recommend Gemini for writing. But also other people have gotten great results with Claude. But yeah, ChatGPT kind of fell off, in my opinion.
Okay. Have you built or adapted any internal templates or trackers as well?
I talked about this the last time also, I think. I talked about it now as well, the freelancer tracking sheet. This is something I created myself. This is a very good template. I can basically rank, test tasks. I have everything in one view. I can Upwork chat would be unorganizable without this tracking sheet. I think that's it pretty much. Yeah, and when it comes to file delivery, the whole Drive setup, this is pretty much copied from your setup, so it's more or less your template when it comes to the Drive system that I've adopted to.
Okay. Is there anything you wish existed to make your workflow easier?
My job all day, and I can just focus on the cool stuff, finding new book concepts, etc. So an AI version of myself. But I think that can also be solved with the human project manager. I'm still in the process of training the project manager. The first had another designer in mind, but now I make the woman who delivers like crazy. But I also on the other hand, I don't want to take up her time when it comes to. I don't want her to slow down on the creation process. But since she saves me so much time and not having to do revisions, it also takes a lot of pressure away from having to find project manager role. But it's bearable. I think that's the right word. Like I can live with and also be productive with the amount of project manager tasks I have to do at the moment. But still, an AI item would be a game changer. Just having a PC here with a cloned version of myself, where I can just tell, "Oh, can you do this now, please?" And he knows everything about my processes. He has watched me do stuff for months. But I think we're pretty close to such a AI operating system which just knows your processes and can just then do it for you.
Yeah, and based on what I know, I think you'll be one of the first to get awareness and test it out.
Yeah, I've always try to have my finger on the pulse there and watch everything that's new in this segment.
Yeah. What was your biggest win in the past month?
As I already mentioned in the beginning, it was like finding the right freelancers, having the production set, so I now have time to focus on other concepts, on other book types, and other strategy or plans. I've expanded the plan, so that is a win, I think, in my opinion, that I've achieved what I aimed for with the production system, and now can focus on new wins. Yeah, I think that's the biggest win so far. Revenue-wise, it's not a big win so far, but it's also not a big loss, and I don't really care about that part right now, even though it's what I do it for at the end of the day. But I just know that my plan is pretty much bulletproof, and I know that I'm not just working for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you received any feedback or insights from readers or freelancers you work with or mentors that stood out?
Freelancers, yeah. Readers, I meant, yeah. I got now the first 100% organic reviews on the first book we talked a little about last interview. Great feedback from the readers. That's very happy to hear. I'm very happy to hear that. I mean, feedback from freelancers, yeah. They are very happy that they get continuous work. This one person, the designer woman I mentioned multiple times now, she is her communication is great. She loves what she's doing. She loves creating the books. Also, the editor, she is very happy working on this project. She loves going to the books and making money with it at the same time. Otherwise, mentors, yeah, I'm happy that you are happy with my progress so far. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going good, and this is the process of publishing. It's you sow the seeds, and can't be focused
Yeah.
at this stage. You can't focus at all about the results. It's more so about, okay, what am I producing? How is the quality? And you measure different things. Then, of course, in a year from now, then it becomes more important to measure the revenue, etc.
Yeah. 100%. I think the sowing seeds phase. This is exactly what I'm in right now. I'm not even fully in the sowing seeds phase. I'm in the creating the seeds phase, more or less. So I'm still, I know that I'm very at the beginning, but I think I have a big bag of wonderful seeds waiting to grow. You know,
Yeah,
very much looking forward to the growing phase
yeah.
and the harvest phase, of course.
Yes. How are your titles performing so far, those that you have published, and what is your interpretation of that?
Yeah, I think I already mentioned this in the very beginning. Revenue is still the same as last month, roughly $200. Out of that, profit zero. Ads pretty much running break even. 90%. I'm looking at the dashboard right now. 90% of the revenue comes from the first book, which beginning. The other books are now starting to pick up ads. We running broad campaigns to find the most profitable keywords. I think we now found some very profitable keywords, and yeah, we will be going hard on ads with these. When I say we, I mean Gerald and me. As I mentioned in the last interview, Gerald's helping me with the ads. He has an ads management agency. Maybe some of you also were in the Q4 preparation webinar, where you can see Gerald's skills live in action. Yeah, Gerald is a big help when it comes to the ad strategies, and also I'm learning a lot from him when I do the calls with him.
Yeah. What
And
has been the most frustrating or challenging part of the process this month?
during the beginning of this month, I still spend a lot of time on hiring freelancers, and sometimes it's a big headache with freelancers. Um, they want to they give you the craziest excuses on stuff sometimes. Then one freelancer who he did the test task great. I hired him for the full book project, and I think I'm waiting on the final delivery still for 3 or 4 weeks. They have been 3 times revision. I had to make revisions 3 times about the same things because he just did not fix it how I advised him to, even though I made video tutorials on how I would fix it. So yeah, freelancers was a big headache, but luckily now I'm out of that phase. I feel relieved about that. Yeah, I think that was the main headache I had. Also uploading the books, it kind of feels like a headache. But yeah, and a new headache that came to me is the KDP paranoia. The I don't want to get banned paranoia. I've heard people talk about it a lot before I started publishing, and I can fully understand it. I had one red book in my account. I had email contact with KDP. It's obviously just a robot talking to you, but I was able to get everything resolved. But still, now every time I open KDP, I a little panic feeling. But yeah, also pressing the publishing button from now on is every time I just go back, check everything 3 times before I press the publish button because I'm so paranoid that I enter something wrong somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Productive paranoia is always good to have. And you got the book back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got it. It was they just wanted to they asked me for the rights, if I have the rights to the book. I just said yes, I have the rights to the book, and it got unblocked
Yeah.
and green. Yeah.
How are you handling the volume of tasks from research to marketing?
As I mentioned in the beginning, I try to batch it to certain days. I batch it when I do it. I batch it. titles. I do all the titles at once. Not always. Sometimes the next day I find ideas for new titles, and then I go back and create more titles. But yeah, I try to batch everything to certain days. It still gets a little bit wishy-washy here and there. Especially now when I'm working on creating new book formats, I still have to put a lot of time in there, but at the same time I have to keep the buckets full for the team. So it can get a little chaotic, but as I mentioned, with the right tracking system, it just feels chaotic, but it's not really chaotic. It's just a feeling of it being chaotic. But as long as you can see that everything is going as it should, that is calming. Yeah.
Okay. Were there any moments where you felt like giving up or where you seriously doubted yourself?
Not 1 second. Not 1 second I thought about this being not worth it or something. As we already said, I'm working 12 hours a day for $200 a month, but at the end I know that it will all pay off. And yeah, last video I said the goal for December is 10K. Now I think I have to raise it. I have this crazy thought of making 100K in December. I think it's possible. But yeah, let's just keep it at the 10K challenge for YouTube. But internally, I'm at a 30K. I made this a 30K challenge, at least 30K challenge.
Speaking of 10xing, you're 10xing there, your goals and your actions and
Yeah.
okay. What has been the most helpful in terms of the support, so coaching, community, or feedback?
I think I've mentioned this in the beginning as well. It was first the 10x call we had with you. Then it was the DPE call where we talked about next level bonuses. What can we offer as lead magnets that other publishers don't? We had a deep brainstorm when it comes to creating bonuses. That was very helpful. Yeah, and the TikTok stuff I came across. This was very helpful in understanding how TikTok publishers approach this process. Yeah.
And you're already doing this, but have you started or have you been contributing to other people's learnings too?
Yeah. Not as much as I wish to at the moment because I'm extremely busy with the keeping up with the KDP stuff. But yeah, I'm in every DPE group call. I give my opinion on everything. I have like a little private mastermind WhatsApp group with Christian and Paul now, where we also exchange AI ideas, and we're working on yeah, building a huge database when it comes to this, and also expanding Paul's AI nugget scores we have in DPE. Also, we talk about every new idea in the DPE group calls. Yeah, so my part of contributing is at the moment limited to the group calls, but in the future I also plan on making video courses on my own systems. Yeah, and also, for example, the freelancer tracking sheet, I've shown that to some DPE members. I've also given away the template for that to DPE members. That's how I contribute at the moment.
Okay, what's one thing you wish you had more of?
Time and money to invest into ads. I have to. I had a strategy talk with this about this with you and Gerald, and we came to the conclusion that it might be the smartest for me to. I have, I think, about 30-40 books laying there ready to be published, more or less. Most of them need A+ content and marketing material, etc. But yeah, money when it comes to ads, because my budget is not very limited, but I still want to keep a lot of budget there for the production system. So I cannot publish them all at once because then I would launch them sub ideal, and I want to. Yeah, so yeah, the conclusion is I publish around 7 books per month, and we go relatively hard on it, or like normal ad budget for the perfect launch, how Gerald teaches it and how Gerald thinks it's best. So yeah, money for ads and time for just to get more done. Sometimes I have to put half of the to-do list to the next day, even though I worked on it all day. So yeah, time and money basically. But I think everybody in every business field, even if you don't do business, the thing is always time and money. Yeah, can't get enough of this.
What are your main goals for month 3?
Main goals is publish the 7 books, and ideally get to at least 1K at the end of the month. I think that is a goal. I think it's not a very important goal that I hit the 1K the end of the next month, but this is, I still want to finally reach the 1K. I know that overall I have to look how I will get all these books published for Q4, because I'm heavily working on I've shifted the production to heavily Q4 optimized books now. So yeah, publishing these books, go heavy on the Q4 book production, and dive into TikTok more, and possibly at the end of towards the end of the month, have my first TikTok optimized book published with a TikTok strategy running. Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. What's the next skill, mindset shift, or project you're excited to tackle?
TikTok, I really want to go hard on TikTok. I love the social media side. I love creating viral content. Yeah, that's where I will put on much focus at the latest after this Q4. This Q4, but the books I have on the list, there also some of them are viable for TikTok. So I will probably aim to combine TikTok also with this Q4 strategy. But yeah, I'm heavy into the TikTok stuff right now.
Okay, and if you were mentoring someone just starting out now, what advice would you give them?
Yeah. First, it's, I think, learn how to leverage AI. Otherwise, you will have no chance against anybody in these next years. Learn how to leverage AI. I would ideally say learn the book creation process yourself. If you come in as an investor, like Ihorn, for example, I think it's still valuable to go through the whole book production by yourself, or at least try out the tools which you aim to have used, will have used by freelancers. Yeah, I think that also combines with just leverage AI. You don't have to be an expert in book production, but I think it's still very, very important that you know how the ideal process looks like, so you can not teach it to freelancers, but you can advise freelancers to do it this way to save money. Otherwise, always seek help is my advice to beginners. Always try to find somebody who is better at what you're doing or on the same level. It's not always seek help, but seek company of other people in the same situation working on similar goals than you. I think this is like, without you guys, I wouldn't even be here. Otherwise, it's focus on quality, but don't neglect quantity. And for the complete beginners, it's just get started. Just create a first book and publish the first book, and just get started. Yeah, I think that sums it up. It was maybe formulated a little chaotic, but yeah, it's those things.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. I think a lot of beginners, they just need to get over that first book or first couple of books, and then they will start to see some results, and they will, like you do now, it's obvious you're learning along the way. And I think I certainly appreciate seeing your growth and what you're learning, etc. And I think the viewer does that as well. So if you as a viewer is appreciating this video series, then hit the like button, subscribe. We'll have more videos for or with Tim. And if you have any questions for Tim, then drop them in the comments below as well, and we can take those into consideration for the next video. Tim, any final words?
100%. Thanks for the feedback on the last video. Also, I've read that many people, they want me to start my own channel. Maybe you got some name recommendations. We've been thinking about the names of my channel. Our current favorite is Timmy the KDP Explorer, Little Dora the Explorer channel. But yeah, feel free to drop name suggestions in the comments if you have any.
Yeah, comment
comment
Timmy the KDP Explorer if you vote for that. I 100% want that name, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too long. If it wasn't so many words, I would immediately agree on it. I like it as well, but it could be shorter. Maybe an alliteration in there would be nice. Timmy 1000K. 1 million a month, Timmy. I don't know.
Timmy the KDP Explorer. It has virality to it. There is something about it.
Yeah. Okay. I think that wraps it up pretty good. Looking forward to the comments on this video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Then
right.
thank you very much, Tim, and thank you to you who are watching as well. See you in the next one.
Thank you as well. Thank you. Bye bye.